In the bottom left here in the blue, currently against the ropes. Needs to win a couple maps in a row to win this series. He is
Ocean Gaming Special.
Played a fantastic round of 16 yesterday against Maynarde, finally getting a big victory over that young Italian.
some delicious revenge from the WCS circuit. And then it's up right here in the red on match point. Korea's hope. He is
Makers Classic.
You know, Roddy, I'm going to out myself right now. I'm cheering for Classic.
That's all good.
I love Special, but I am cheering for Classic right now. I want him to do well.
But what you are doing, though, is you're eliminating the last Terran of the tournament if you do that.
I'll take it.
Really?
I will take it.
You're Terran heart?
I will take it over my Terran heart. You know why? Because I love the game more than I love my race. And I think this would be good for Classic. This guy's not too far away from the military. It'd be nice to see a Korea in the top four just to shake things up as well, considering it's just world players up there. And I just think it'd be a cooler tournament. But, you know, obviously I love Special, love the Terran, but...
I'm going to be boring. May the better nerd win, okay? And I think so far they're actually quite evenly matched. I think these games could have gone either way. I think Classic was good on Acropolis. I really liked a lot of the things he did there. I think Thunderbird, it was actually pretty risky, the things that he was doing. And I think that Special would have babysit like his first big move out a little bit better when he had like those extra mines coming in from the right side. I actually think there is a chance that he can make that fight go a little bit longer. And I think the longer it goes, the better it would have been for the Terran. And then he maybe could keep Classic on 3 bases a little bit longer. Economically, things would have been all right. So there absolutely was potential. Anyway, let's focus on this game as we saw the barracks being built in the middle of the map. But this time, Classic is not showing the same amount of respect as he did on New Repugnancy, Maynard.
No, he certainly isn't. I mean, there is a bit of a distance here, so it takes a while for that, you know, the Reaper to get across the map. The Adept will be out in a minute. But of course, Special is looking for probe kills here and will settle for nothing less with that Reaper. One of them just dancing past the Reaper here. The Adept is out, like I said. It doesn't take too long to get built here.
Oh, this is actually so annoying, by the way, because now that probe is going to show up, so that second Reaper is going to have to go here to the natural, because this probe can start working on this SCV.
Certainly can.
And that is really frustrating for Terran players.
I can tell you all about it, RotterdaM. Certainly is. SCV getting really low. Another one coming down to help him out with the defense. Doesn't look like he's bringing that Reaper home. They're actually just... Oh, now they're coming back. Here they come. The Adept also trying to help out.
He better brings them back. I think there is still one Adept actually on the other side of the map. This is going to get interesting, because obviously the Hellion can get repaired, but the Hellion is not that good. I wouldn't mind seeing him cancel that Shade, and that's exactly what he does. Classic is dealing some good economic damage here already. He's buying time. And what is really happening on the other side of the map, Mr. Observer? Please show us. Please.
Oh, doesn't look like there's too much probe damage, otherwise we would have seen it pop up. We do see, ooh, some gateway. Well, we've got a couple gateways and a robo finishing up. So just a 3-gate robo around there for Classic.
Is he going to open up with the Prism, or just an Observer?
It is going to be the Prism. All right. Classic not too happy with the aggressive start here for Special. Going to go into an aggressive transition himself here as the Prism is on the way.
I think very good news actually for Special is that he's building a Viking. Maybe he's aware of this build. Maybe
and
he's
a Cyclone.
Yep.
Like
I mean, yeah, that's the best thing you can ever wish for, right? As a Terran player going up against his Warp Prism. So I kind of like it. Should not be in any danger of dying anytime soon.
Shouldn't be. On paper, certainly looks the case. The Prism is going to have a hard time with the Viking sharking around, and also the Cyclones lock on quite nice as well. The bunker is also coming up for Special in the natural, so if the gateway units try to run past and kill SCVs or anything like that, they're going to have a little bit of a tougher time. Reacted barracks for Special is going to be able to load up that bunker nice and quickly. Hellion running into the natural now. They get a little bit of damage on one of those probes. So you're going to get the one so far. Don't know if they'll get anything else though. Sentry sort of holding that line, doing a little bit of tickle beam damage to that Hellion. Special really being annoying here with that, just that one Hellion. He sees the Prism move out here from Classic.
Yeah, Classic is up 7 workers, but I really have a hard time believing that he's going to be able to get a lot done here. He's going to try. This is very ambitious. That's a lot of damage on that Warp Prism immediately.
Oh, God, that was so close. Classic does keep it alive, but surely he's be thinking twice about dropping that main again now that Special has that Viking and the Cyclone as well, still pretty high enough in hit points. Yeah, Classic's just going home.
But I always hate, personally, if I'm a pros player and this kind of stuff happens, like, you might look at it and be like, oh, this is all right, this is an even game. Downside, though, is that your real tech is so late, right? Like, now the Twilight Council, the Forge, they are not even done yet. It's 5 minutes into the game. You're starting your first Immortal. When can you really afford a Robo Bay? And even then, that's going to take a very long time. So this may not look like that much has happened, but I actually think this is pretty damn sweet for Special. because the real power units of Protoss, it's going to take a while before they make an appearance.
Certainly. Just a single forge here for Classic so far, with the Twilight Council finishing up as well. So with the armor coming down, it looks like it is going to be straight in a charge rather than blink. And a Templar Archives really fast for Classic on 2 base as well.
I actually think that's kind of smart, right, to go for charge here. Because he knows that if he goes blink into charge, it's going to take a very, very long time. And, well, we've seen how that can turn out if you only have a couple of Stalkers and there's a big push coming. So I think going charge here first is smart, and he's probably going to go for quick storm as well, right? That's like the only thing that I think that truly makes sense. There are some games where you'd be like, oh, let's try something with Zealot Archon. But this really is one of those moments where like, nope, I just want to get High Templars out as quickly as possible. And then maybe once again land a couple of those devastating storms. Because if there's one thing that has really stood out for me so far in this series, it's how good the storms have been from those High Templars out of the War Prisms.
Certainly. And that is basically like, not a whole lot of Special's army is going to be great against those storms. You know, he hasn't caught wind of this early Templar Archive. Sometimes Terrans will go for the earlier Ghost Academy to deal with it, or just maybe throw in a few more Marauders or a couple Siege Tanks or something like that to really punish some guy that goes for the faster High Templars. It is such an expensive unit. We do that prisoner's dead, and it had some pretty precious cargo as well.
Wow, that's massive. I mean, now you're going to have to rebuild the Prism as well, because obviously that's very important to have those High Templars inside of it. This Raven on Russ is going to be nice. Auto turret gets at least 1 probe, maybe even a Stalker. No, that's not going to happen out, but hey, that's a lot of lost mining time once again. Wow, wow, wow. Maynard, your boy Classic, not looking too hot so far here on Turbo Cruise.
Oh, my Korean lad, he's having a bit of a hard time getting into this game, that's for sure. Third base, 3/4 of the way done here for the Protoss. Special still sharking around with that Raven as well. Another auto turret.
Wow, look at the supplies.
Yeah.
This is a good catch though, at least, but that's a lot of force fields as well. And the Cyclone's actually not that important anymore. It's obviously always nice to have them, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's like the most important thing in the world. Special's 21 army supply ahead. Let's see if we can make something happen soon. As soon as Stim is done and Combat Shield is done.
Yeah, it's about to negate that +1 armor of the Protoss as well, with that +1 nearly finishing up. With all those upgrades finishing up, usually the Terran uses that opportunity to go across the map and try and find some damage against the Protoss. Special's sort of anti-probe flying army here being very, very annoying. Classic is chasing around, and he gets the feedback on the Raven, nice. And he does get the Viking as well, so that's a nice pick up there for Classic. And those upgrades finishing up, like I said, great time to go and attack, and Special is gearing up for it.
Yeah, Ghost Academy is on the way as well, though.
You saw the High Templar.
Yep, and I think that's actually, like, imagine if he can get a couple of Ghosts out. He's got Widow Mines already. I really don't see Class. Oh my goodness, 12 probes went down. Where? I think it was a Widow Mine drop into the main base or something. 12 probes just went down,
yeah,
Maynard.
There it is. Oh, that's devastating, man. Classic looks like he's only down, you know, half a dozen workers, but that's pretty devastating for the Protoss at this point in the game. You want to be up workers, not down, because you have a large army supply deficit as a Protoss in this game, usually. If everything goes to plan, the Terran has more army supply. They have some nice upgrades and a great timing attack coming for you, and if you have less mining than them, then just getting the replenishments, you know, your army reinforcements is all that much harder.
And the worst thing is that he's been down economically as well, right? It's not like one of those games where he was up 10, 12 workers all the time. It's like, oh, now he just fell a few workers behind. It's like, no, he's actually been outmined for the majority of this game.
Tell me High Templar don't die this Marine. Okay, there we go.
I don't know if that's the case. Robo and Robo Bay are on the way though, but he's only at 56 probes. And now that army, that move out that you were talking about, Maney, it's coming. I don't know how many goals we have in the mix, but you know, he's activating a storm there. A couple of bio units, they don't get the success they're looking for. Where are those ghosty boys?
He's got one at home. Classic sees it with the Observer, but the Raven in tandem getting rid of that Observer back at home. So Classic doesn't really have any vision on Special side of the map anymore. He is moving out with his army. This feels so dangerous for Classic. His army splitting up a little bit. The Prism going to the right.
I actually really like what this Raven has been doing, right? It's been picking up Observer after Observer, and Vision is everything in this matchup. And it's so frustrating for a Protoss player to have to rebuild the Observers over and over again. Also because you want to be building Colossus or Immortals, right? You don't want to rebuild ops all the time.
And there's 75 gas of power play.
Yep, that's also annoying. And it doesn't even cost the Terran anything because they don't have to scan. They already have the Raven. Now it's very easy to lose a Raven, but Special's done a good job. He's doing a very good job here as well, and immediately pulling his workers away.
Yeah, great awareness there from Special. Classic not going to waste those storms on too little damage. He wants a nice, juicy mineral line of damage there. Lots of ghosts still being made here from Special. He's actually stopped Marauder production completely, and he's making a lot of ghosts. Which is where the Colossus could actually come in for Classic. Like, if Classic has a bit more time to get the Colossus count higher, ghosts really suck against those. So things could start to switch into the Protoss' favor a bit.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's now or, I don't want to say never, but now or much
now
later,
or not
right?
for a while, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So this is probably the moment for Special to really make some magic happen. Oh no. I feel like that happens very often with certain Terran players. It's like, you know what's the most important unit I have right now? It's like the Ghosts. It's like, where are they?
Get out there, hold that line.
It's like, get in there, Ghost. He's like, no, wait for backup. Now that's bad. So basically the timing window we were talking about, I don't want to say it's gone, but it just becomes a lot harder because now he has less EMPs. You can't really, going through those slow zone, by the way, is so risky because they are high Templars. There are a couple Vikings in the mix though.
Interference Matrix on these Colossi as well, so they're not really helping out Classic for now. He pulls back a bit. Storms go down, but they're kind of whiffing here for Classic. A lot of the bio is still very healthy.
There's still 2 more Storms in at War Prism, though. Keep an eye on that Prism, Maynarde, because that's what it's all about. And I think Special knows it. I think Special needs to get the hell out of here.
I agree. He has to go through an inhibitor zone to go home the quickest way as well. Oh, he's a Storm on the backside there of that bio. Breaks off some Marines to try and catch that Prism, but doesn't successfully pick it off.
Classic is like, you did that to me at BlizzCon, mate. Like, that's not going to happen again. He's like, I remember that one. Oh, the entire army goes through one of these slow zones. There's a Widowmine door on the left side there. Oh, right side, actually.
Oh, that Storm flank. Look at how quick those Storms are. You're absolutely right, Roddy. He does lose one of those high Templar. The Ghost also trying to chase down the Prism.
And that Prism is still alive. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
But the army on the right side is suddenly very exposed. And now that's kind of awkward, right? Like, where were those Colossus? There's only one Immortal in the mix there. These Marauders are doing pretty damn good.
They're diving for those Colossi. 4 Colossi putting out a lot of damage here. Special looks like he might get one of them thanks to this Viking. The ground army, though, has been erased. Oh, this Widowmines! Oh, God, that could have been way worse. There was some high Templar there, and obviously the Colossus very, very damaged from that battle. Ah, such a scrappy game.
Where's his army going?
Where you going, mate? Yeah. Get some charge lots. Whew.
Especially with 1,200 minerals in the bank as well. Special with his tournament live on the line. I mean, that was just hectic. Like, what to even say about that battle? It went into so many different directions. I love that Special turned around at one point and just decided to fight. Otherwise, he would have just lost even more. And he didn't really do anything on the other side. But I think the fight on the right side was great. Against the Colossus, it was actually quite close. And it really felt that the Marauders were doing an all-right job. But then 2 more High Templars showed up as well. The final Storms maybe a little too much, but what a fight.
Yeah, what a game. Special's tournament life on the line here. Classic trying to close things out in a 3-1. My army is rotating to the right. Special's seen it, though, with that Marine.
Special has a well, upgrade lead is maybe not the right way to put it, but I think 2-1 against 1-2 is actually always quite all right.
+3 armor is on the way for Classic. Looks like he's missing the attack upgrade. He can afford it, but it looks like he's just trying to round out a few more units. Oh, there's that +2 attack, so just a little bit behind.
Yeah, economically Classic does feel quite strong, but hey, Special is on a 4-base economy now as well, and he's got Vikings, and this is a good map for Vikings, I feel too, right? There's a lot of safe spots where they can get a couple of good shots off on these Colossi, and that's what's going to be all about. Planetary Fortresses are very strong here.
Oh, EMPs on pretty much everything on the ground there, Roddy. The Colossi taking some big damage from those Vikings. One of them's about to go down as well. No room in the Prism for it, so just has to pull all the way back. Oh, that EMP was so tasty.
Yeah, a good Storm on the Vikings, but I don't really understand why Classic took that fight. Like, you don't want to take these kind of fights near Planetary Fortresses, man, because the Zealots are just not going to do anything. They're going to storm forward, and then it's going to be like, oh, there's a PF, let's attack that. It's like, no, Zealots, you don't want to do that. But the Storms on the Vikings were really good, and that actually kind of prevented a total disaster there for Classic.
Attacking this Planetary feels like a bit of a pipe dream, but you really don't want to attack through inhibitor zones into the natural and third either.
I would probably go, if you really want to fight, you fight on the left side. But I think he's afraid that if he opens it, then Special will just send a couple of forces down the right side of this map, and we'll start attacking him instead. So I think the best thing is indeed to just build your own Stargate and kind of chill.
And that kind of is the way for Classic. He's rotating his units around. The Prism still with some precious High Templar within. He's throwing in Disruptors, going to start dealing with his Ghosts a little bit more directly. Disruptors are fantastic against the Ghosts, and even just the bio in general for the Terran. Very, very nice addition to the composition of Classic. They're a little ways away, and the Stargate, of course, means you can start to unlock, Oracle tags, and then eventually Tempests, which are the fantastic endgame tool for the Protoss.
Yeah, we saw that right in the Trap vs. Hero Marine. The combination of Tempest, Storm, Colossus, and High Templars or Disruptors, whatever. I forgot one of them. It was very powerful. It was a lot of splash damage, and it got the job done for Trap.
Not the greatest warp ins here, but he does get some nice Storms there on the SCVs, and it doesn't look like these High Templar are going to go home.
I wonder if that Archon can finish up and actually get like a few more SCV kills.
Well, the tank's doing a fair bit of damage to it. He's getting more SCV kills. I'm saying 7.
8. Argon may live forever.
EMPs on the High Templar. That's all of them, Roddy.
Oh my god, and the Colossus now as well taking a lot of damage. I mean, he should have a few more, but there are Disruptors coming in from the left side. But they actually went into the slow zone.
Yeah, so the Purification Over also got slowed down there. TIL, I didn't even know that happened. So the Disruptors, while they're a nice addition, didn't really make a huge difference there. That Colossus being chased back. Blink Stalker's there to zone out those Vikings.
Oh my god, I may hope for Classic that he still has a Storm or two available somewhere. I don't know where they are though. He's pretending he had a Storm, but the War Prism goes down. Didn't really have anything inside of it though.
I'm so worried for Classic here. RotterdaM, the Vikings getting landed. The Bio coming forward. These Disruptor Novas need to be really good here for Classic. There are a couple more Storms coming forward. He has one or two on these High Templar.
Wow, really good micro there by Special, avoiding them. But there are still Zealots coming in as well, and I actually think that's going to be enough. Look at the money that Classic has. He's got 2,000 minerals. If he can just spend some of that, use those robotics facilities, my friend.
Oh man, the Bio with just pretty much primarily Stalkers here. Doing all right. He's already killed 9 probes from that Nexus as well. Some of the reinforcements are special. I mean, you know, a lot of guys that play Terran on this map, you got to know that when you're attacking into that Nexus and you're rallying across the map, they do run through those inhibitor zones and they will get carved up at the defensive line of the Protoss. So, got to take a bit of a breath here. Classic was really on the precipice in that moment there against Special, but is going to hold on here.
Yeah, he just kind of ran out of Storms completely after all of those High Templars got sniped. I think Special probably got very excited when he got the War Prism as well. He's like, imagine if that was full of High Templars too, is that going to be enough? In the end it was close, but it wasn't. And that actually means it's actually sort of alright for Classic. And I know that sounds silly, but he had 2,000 minerals in the bank during all of that. And they were pretty dead even at the end of that fight. So hey, all he needs to do is spend some of that money. And then once again, he is a little bit ahead.
Well, that money was spent on triple Tempest production and also some Colossus as well, so that's where that bank went for Classic. This medevac. Yeah, that's dead. So down that goes. Classic with that army supply lead. He's also getting air upgrades as well for these Tempests, but Special is, you know, getting a little bit up there in his army supply as well, but I'm not really liking the Viking count anymore. He's up against Tempest and he knows that. Still just has the one Viking. I'd like to see a lot of Starport production. I haven't actually seen the production tab in a little while here. Oh, High Templar getting picked off, so the Fire is still alive, but the Charge Lot Warpins going to come out here just in time for some of these low hit point units.
Special was actually a bit broke. I think that's why he couldn't rebuild the Vikings that he lost before. I'm sure he would have liked to have a few more, but he just had almost no money in the bank at all when he was hovering around 130, 140 supply. And War Prism is going to make his way into the main base. That one Viking is going to put in the work, but a few Zealots will actually appear. This is always going to be annoying because you need to rearrange your rally points and stuff like that. These Marines out of position as well. Classic is starting to look better and better over here on Turbo Cruise.
Yeah, he's starting to look pretty solid now. Some of his Ghosts joining in, even EMP and the Zealots to help him out with some of that production being camped by the Protoss. Classic with 5 Tempests here, which is pretty convincing. He's also got +1 attack on them, don't forget. The Liberator looking for some damage. Oh, just escapes with his life there. Oh, no, it comes back. I've changed my mind. I want to die.
Liberator's like, maybe I can get a Stalker.
This always is so hilarious to me. When they're like, no, you won't have that ledge.
Yeah.
You won't have it.
It's like, come, you want to see if you can get me? It's also a nice little anti-F2 thing though.
It is true.
And we've seen a couple of F2 prisms in this tournament.
We have
and
an
F2 medevac.
Couple F2 medevacs.
Yeah,
There's one in this series, perhaps. The jury's out on that.
It's good to see that they're all human, right?
It's a good hockey.
A couple of Zealots are going to find this base on the left side. It's obviously a very important base because Special's still not maxed out. He needs to get closer and closer to maxed out. His tournament life is on the line. Flies forward one of those Purification Novas, Classic that is, and connected with the tank, but not enough to kill it. That Tempest counter,
this is really annoying.
You can't engage these armies in general. Right? If there are Storms, if there are Disruptors in the mix as well, I really don't think that it doesn't matter how good your concave is. He's going to try. He's going to come in from the north side. He wants to land those EMPs once again, and
really
he does land them.
Very nice EMPs. Disruption Nova's zoning back the fire for now,
wow.
But they are collapsing on Classic here. Storm's also giving him a bit more time, but the Tempest count is being cut into. The EMPs have also softened up the Gateway Army. Special's in a bit of a choke point here. Classic trying to hold on. Some splash damage from this Colossi on the backside. The Tempests are folding here to the Bio. Special pressing the issue. That last bit of splash damage going down here for the Protoss, and he's left with just Gateway units on the ground, Roddy.
Yeah, that last Storm was mighty fine, but that's still a lot of Bio units. And Classic, yes, he's got a bit of money, but that was a really bad fight. I thought he would have a few more Disruptors. I thought he'd have a few more Storms, but the EMPs were massive. I don't know why he's taking this fight. That's not a fight you're going to win, right? I mean, the Bio might be low. Okay, maybe with the Storms were big.
The Storms are big. Charge Lot reinforcement might be enough here to fight back, but this Bio is so heavily upgraded. He's got +3 attack. Oh man, this one Tempest even helping out a little bit. A lot of SCVs dying at that base to the 9 o'clock location there. So charge lot run by the looks of things. Oh man, both players with pretty dismal economies, but Special with much bigger army.
Look at all those observers. They're like, here we are. Can we help? It's like, well, not really.
Yeah, whatever we're going to fly by is going to be super detected.
I mean, those EMPs were sick. Really, really good move there by Special, getting those ghosts in from the left side, letting the EMPs on Knight Templars. And suddenly there were very few storms available. But once again, that's a great move by Special, but also a bit sloppy by Classic. That should have never happened. And if you have that many Tempests, like, you know that Tempests are never going to be good in a straight-up fight. If you just stand there and there's no AoE, Tempests are simply not that good. So it's really important you space out the High Templars, you have a couple of Disruptors, and normally that becomes an unengageable army. It's just not supposed to be possible. You have to outmaneuver it. Special made a great move, but Classic definitely kind of gave it to him there.
Special with that standard late game Terran gas bank here at the moment. Classic trying to press the issue here on this orbital, which is, you know, it's obviously not a planetary, so why not? The bio defenses here get pushed back. Special's army's on the right-hand side here, so we need to bring a few more forces in to actually stop these charge lots from doing more SCV damage.
Isn't it crazy how he's like throwing away units while he's on 46 workers and 63 army supply? He's like,
it's like he thinks there's 2,000 minerals in the back.
Not anymore. He does finally get his +3. I think like a Colossus or two would be amazing, but I mean, it's hard to get there, right?
It is a little bit tough. 3-3 upgrade is rounded out here for the Protoss, at least on the armor and the attack. And Special hasn't been able to really afford +3 thrust to the armor for his bio units.
Special does have a lot of Marines, so Storm can be very devastating. That's a bad fight for Classic, though. Needs to get the hell out of there. Ends up losing a couple of Zealots, and his army supply still not looking too good. Wants to land Storms. I don't know, he's just kind of going up. He really wants to get this planetary, and he may finally get it. +3 Zealots are very good. Lands a couple of Storms as well. No, he doesn't get it yet.
Oh no, that decision from Classic, I think, may have cost him this game, but he was in a pretty bad spot to begin with. Oh, Special cleaning this up, and that is going to